Question number 51. With reference to Indus Valley civilization, consider the following statements. Cities were usually divided into two or more parts. The part to the east was smaller but higher. Statement 2. In some cities, special buildings were constructed on the citadel like the Great Bath in Mohenjo-daro. Statement 3. Cities such as Kalibangan and Lothal had fire altars where sacrifices may have been performed. Which of the statements are correct? Answer: statement 2 and 3 are correct. The Harappan culture was distinguished by its system of town planning. Cities were usually divided into two or more parts, citadel and lower town. The citadel mound built on the high podium of mud brick to the west. The town to the east was the main hub of the residential area, which was also surrounded by a massive brick wall. Citadel was occupied by members of ruling classes and lower towns was inhabited by the common people. Question number 52. Consider the following statements about Neolithic sites. Domestic dogs buried with their masters have been discovered from the sites of Barzohom at Chirand. Bone tools made up of antlers have been found. Third statement, at Mehragarh, graveyards with households have been discovered. Which of the statements are correct? Answer: only 1 and 2. At Burzoham, unique rectangular chopper domestic dogs buried with their masters in graves. And Guf, Gufral in Jammu and Kashmir, famous for pit dwelling, stone tools, and graveyards located within households. At Chirand, bone made up of antlers have been found, and at Gufral, literally meaning cave of the potter, which is famous for pit dwelling, graveyards have been discovered within the households. Question number 53. With reference to Bhimbetka painting of the Mesolithic period, consider the following. Uh, First one, largest number of paintings in this period. Second statement, mostly hunting scenes have been depicted. Statement 3, the size of painting has reduced in comparison to the Paleolithic period. Which of the following statements are correct? Answer: 1, 2 and 3. The Bhimbetka painting are one of the oldest painting in India and the world. It was discovered by archaeologist V.S. Wakankar in 1957 and 58. Largest number of paintings in the Bhimbetka caves belong to the Mesolithic period. More themes but paintings reduced in size. It shows mostly hunting scenes, people hunting in groups with barbed spears, arrows, and bows and pointed sticks. Also show traps and snares to catch animals. Hunters wear simple clothes. Some men are shown with head dresses and masks. Women have been shown both clothed and in the nude. Question number 54. Which one among the following statements regarding Jorvi culture is not correct? First one, Pravara Godavari Valley was the nuclear zone of Jorvi culture. Second, the main sites of Jorvi culture are Diamabad, Inamgam, Jorve, and Nevesa. Third statement, practically all Jover settlements in the North Deccan were suddenly deserted. All these statements are correct. Wrong statement is at Diamabad, one gets archaeological evidence of symbolic burial. Explanation: the Zorve culture was a which existed in large areas of what is now Maharashtra state in western India and also reached north into the region of Madhya Pradesh. It is named after the type site of Zorvi. The largest settlement was the Diamabad, which had a mud fortification during this period as well as an elliptical temple with fire pits. Question number 55. Which Buddhist text contains an account of Mauryan Emperor Ashoka? Answer is Mahavasam. The Mahavasam is an epic poem written in the Pali language. It contains an account of the Mauryan Emperor Ashoka. The sacred text of Buddhism was broken down into three sections known as baskets, referred to in the West as three baskets. The Tripitaka includes Vinaya Pitaka, Stu, Sutta Pitaka, and Habhidhamma Pitaka. Vinaya Pitaka is a collection of texts concerning the rules of conduct governing the daily affairs within the Sangha, the community of bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. Sutta Pitaka is a collection of suttas and discourses attributed to the Buddha and a few of his closest disciples, containing all the central teaching of Theravada Buddhism. Abhidhamma Pitaka offers an extraordinarily detailed analysis of the basic natural principles that govern mental and physical process. 56th question. Which of the following texts mention the existence of 16 Mahajanapadas? Options: Shilapadikaram, Angutara Nikaya, Agamam Sutra, Buddha Charita. Answer is Angutara Nikaya. Angutara Nikaya, a Buddhist scripture, mentions the 16 great kingdoms or Mahajanapadas at the beginning of 6th century BC in India. Gandhara and Cambodia are also mentioned. Question number 57. Match the following. First list is Mahajanapadas. Second list is capitals. First Magadha, Kosala, Vatsa, Avanti. The capitals Ujjaini, Rajagriha, Sharavasti, Kausambi. Correct option is C. First one, Magadha. Its capital is Rajagriha. Second, Kosala. Its capital is Sharavasti. Third one, Vatsa. Its capital is Kausambi. Fourth one, Avanti. Its capital is Ujjaini. 50th question. What is the capital of Surasena? Answer: Mathura. Consider the following statements about Avanti. The Avanti state was located in central Malwa and adjoining Madhya Pradesh. Second statement, its capital was Ujjaini only, which was also an important trade center. Which of the following statement correct? Answer: only statement 1 is correct. In the central Malwa and the adjoining part of Madhya Pradesh lay the state of the Avantis. Thus, statement 1 is correct. It was divided into two parts. The northern part had its capital at Ujjain and the southern part at Mahishmati. They both were important towns from 6th BC onwards. Though eventually Ujjaini surpassed Mahishmati, developed large-scale working in iron and erected strong fortification. Question number 60. Consider the following statements about Magadha. It rose to prominence under Bimbisara, who belonged to Haryanaka dynasty. Second one, the earliest capital of Magadha was Rajgir. Third one, Bimbisara used marriage alliance as diplomacy to expand his rule. Which of the following statements are not correct? Answer: none. Magadha came into prominence under the leadership of Bimbisara, who belonged to Haranyak dynasty. He strengthened his position using marriage alliance and conquest. Marriage relationship with different princely families gave enormous diplomatic prestige and paved the way for westward and northward expansion of Magadha Empire. The most serious rival of Magadha Empire was Avanti with its capital at Ujjain. Although leaders of these two kingdoms remained friends afterwards, in an incident when King Pradyota was attacked by jaundice at Avanti's king request, Bimbisara sent his loyal physician Jivika to Ujjain. The earliest capital of Magadha was at Rajgir, which was called Giriv Raja at that time. Thus, all the statements are correct. Question number 61. Consider the following statements. Ajatashatru expanded the Magadha Empire with addition of Kashi and Vaishali. Like his father, second statement, like his father Bimbisara, Ajatashatru used marriage alliance and diplomacy only to achieve this. Which statements are correct? Answer: only one. During his reign, Ajatashatru pursued an aggressive policy of expansion during the prolonged conflict going on between Magadha and Koshala. Ajatashatru got got the best of war. He compelled Kosala king to purchase peace by giving his daughter in marriage, and he was left in sole possession of Kashi through war. He also launched war against Vaishali, even though his mother was a Lachivi princess. It took him full 16 years to destroy Vaishali. The Magadha Empire was thus enlarged with the addition of Kashi and Vaishali. Question number 62. Consider the following statements. Shishunagas, who were one of the successors of Magadha, claimed to be Ekarat. The Nanda's conquest of Kalinga added to Magadhan Empire, from where they brought an image of Jina as a mark of victory. Third statement, Magadha was the first to use elephant on large scale in its war against its neighbor. Which of the statements are not correct? Answer option 1. Nandas, who succeeded Shishunagas, proved to be the most powerful rulers of Magadha. So great was their power that Alexander, who invaded Punjab at that time, did not dare to move towards the east. The Nandas added to Magadhan power to conquering Kalinga by conquering Kalinga, from where they bought an image of Jina as a victory trophy. All these took place during the reign of Mahapadma Nanda. He claimed to be Ekarat, the sole sovereign who destroyed all the other ruling princes. Thus, statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. Magadha also enjoyed a special advantage in military organization. Although the Indian states were well acquainted with the use of horses and chariots, it was Magadha which first used elephants on a large scale in its war against its neighbor. Question number 63. Consider the following statement with respect to Upanishads. The motto Satyameva Jayate has been taken from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Second statement, the first three ashrams were mentioned in Mundaka Upanishad. Third statement, the doctrine of Trimurti has been mentioned in Jabala Upanishad. Which of the following statements are correct? Answer none of the above. The Upanishads are philosophical texts dealing with topics like the soul, the absolute, the origin of the world, and the mystery of nature. It criticizes the ritual and lays stress on the value of right belief and knowledge. There are 108 Upanishads. Mundaka Upanishads contain the mantra Satyameva Jayate, that means truth alone triumphs, which is borrowed in the national emblem of India. Brihadaranyaka Upanishads talks about the transmission of Atman, passages on metaphysics and ethics. Chandogya Upanishads talk about the first three ashrams: Brahmacharya, Grahastha, and Vanaprastha. Jabala Upanishads talks about four ashrams: Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. Maitrayini Upanishads gave the doctrine of Trimurti. Question number 64. Consider the following statement regarding the Bohaz Koi inscription. The Bohaz Koi is an inscription of 1400 BC, which prove that Rig Veda must have come into existence much before that date. Bohaz Koi has mentions of the names of Vedic gods Indra, Varuna, Mitra, and two Nasatyas. Bohaz Koi inscription records a treaty between the Hittite and Mitanni kings, and these gods are cited as witness to this treaty. Which of the following statements are correct? Answer 1, 2, 3. All the statements are correct. On the analogy of the language of Avesta, some scholars opinion that the date of Rig Veda may be 1000 BC, but the fact that some of the Vedic gods, namely Indra, Varuna, Mitra, and two Nasatyas, are mentioned in Bohaz Koi, that is Asia Minor inscription of 1400 BC, prove that Rig Veda must have come into existence much before that date. The Boghaz Koi inscription records a treaty between Hittite and Mitanni kings, and these gods are cited as witness to this treaty, exactly the way even today oath has taken in the courts and on assumption of the public office in the name of God. Question number 65. Consider the statement about the Buddhism. Earlier, women were not allowed in the spread of Buddhism, but later on they were allowed. People were admitted to Buddhism without any caste consideration. Third statement, Buddhism was liberal and democratic. Which of the following statements are correct? Answer all the above. Initially, men were allowed into the Sangha, but later women also came to be admitted. According to Buddhist texts, this was made possible through the meditation of Ananda, one of the Buddhist dearest disciple, who persuaded him to allow women into the Sangha. The Buddha's foster mother, Mahaprajapati Gautami, was the first woman to be ordained as the bhikkhuni. Sangha was based on democratic principles where consensus was arrived at through discussion. If that failed, decisions were taken by the vote on the subject. There was no caste consideration. However, slaves, soldiers, debaters, and other persons were under obligations were not permitted without the permission of their supervisors. Question number 66. Consider the following statements. Basadis in Jainism refer to temple of Tirthankaras. Second statement, although Jainism did not receive much patronage from king as Buddhism, yet its art and architecture were richer than that of Buddhists. Which of the following statements are correct? Answer neither one nor two. Basadis were the Jain monastic establishment or temples in Karnataka. Jain architects cannot be accredited with the style of its own. It was almost an offshoot of Hindu and Buddhist style. The Buddhist architecture developed on a large and wider scale as compared to that of Jain architects. Question number 67. Jainism and Buddhism differ in their approach with regard to. Answer is perception of strict life and penance. Second one, accepting the existence of soul, and accepting the existence of God. There are several differences between Jainism and Buddhism. Jainism recognized the existence of God while Buddhism did not. Jainism does not condemn the Varna system while Buddhism does. Jainism believed in the transmigration of soul, that is reincarnation, while Buddhism does not. Buddhism prescribes a middle path while Jainism advocates its followers to live the life of complete austerity. However, both Jainism and Buddhism believed in the theory of karma. Buddhists believe that only intentional action create karma, while Jainas believe that negligence can also create karma. Question number 68. Consider the following feature of Mahayana Buddhism. The Buddhists were interpreted as transcendent figure who all could aspire to become. Second option, it believes in the heavenliness of Buddha, not in idol worship of Buddha. Third statement, concept of Bodhisattva is developed under this sect of Buddhism. Which of the following statements are correct? Only statement 1 and 3 are correct. Mahayana is a philosophical movement that proclaimed the possibility of universal salvation, offering assistance to practitioners in the form of compassionate beings called bodhisattvas. The goal was to open up the possibility of Buddhahood, becoming a Buddha, to all sentient beings. The Buddha ceased to be simply a historical figure, but rather was interpreted as a transcendent figure who all could aspire to become. Mahayana, or Great Vehicle, believes in the heavenliness of Buddha and the idol worship of Buddha and Bodhisattva embodying Buddha nature. Central to Mahayana ideology is the idea of the Bodhisattva, one who seeks to become a Buddha. Mahayana teaches that anyone can aspire to achieve awakening and they thereby become a Bodhisattva. Question number 69. Which among the following were the factors responsible for the decline of Jainism in India? Options. The Jainas stretched the concept of ahimsa too far. They advised against taking medicine even one fell sick. Third one, lack of patronage from later kings. Which of the statements are correct? Answer all the three statements. Various factors were responsible for the Decline of Jainism. The Jainas stretch the concept of ahimsa too far. They advise that one should not take medicine when one falls sick because the medicine kills the germs. Such practices could not become popular with the common man. Moreover, there was a lack of patronage from later kings. Question number 70. Which among the following were the factors responsible for the decline of Buddhism in India? Options: corruption in Buddhist Sangha, second, or adoption of Sanskrit language by the monks, third one, invasion of the Turks. Which of the following statements are correct? Answer all the options. By the 12th century, Buddhism became extinct in India. Corruption in Buddhist Sangha led to its decline. The monk and the followers got attracted towards a luxury as they received royal patronage and valuable gifts like gold and silver. They became to lead a life of indiscipline, division into various groups like Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana, Tantrayana led Buddhism to lose its originality and simplicity. Gradually, Buddhist monks gave up Pali and took to Sanskrit language. Mahayana sect practiced idol worship on a grand scale. Later, the monasteries came to be converted by the Turkish invaders for their riches. The Turks killed a number of Buddhist monks in Bihar. Question number 71. Which of the following statement is correct about the spread of Jainism? Answer is both men and women were admitted to spread Jainism. Mahavira organized an order of his followers which admitted both men and women. Mahavira wanted that women should also attain moksha. Question number 72. With reference to Tripitakas, consider the following statement. The Vinaya Pitaka contains rules for monks and nuns of the Sangha. Sutta Pitaka contains the Buddha discourse on various doctrinal issues in the dialogue. Explanation. All the branches of Buddhism have Tripitaka as a part of their core scriptures, which comprises three books: the Sutta, conventional teaching; second one, the Vinaya, disciplinary code; third one, Abhidhamma, that is moral psychology. 73rd question. Consider the following statement. In the ancient times, Sri Lanka was also known as Tamraparni. Second one, the Deepa Vansa and Mahavansa are well known Sri Lankan Buddhist source. Which of the following statements are correct? Both the statement 1 and 2 are correct. 74th question. Consider the following statement. Sutta Pitaka was settled under the leadership of Ananda. Vinaya Pitaka was established under the leadership of Upali. Which of the statements are correct? Both the statements are wrong. The Tripitakas forms the Tripitakas form the part of colonial text of Buddhism. The Vinaya Pitaka and Sutta Pitaka were compiled in the first Buddhist council held in 483 BC. The Sutta Pitaka was settled under the leadership of Ananda. And it consists of the main teaching or Dhamma of Buddha. The Vinaya Pitaka consists of rules of conduct and discipline applicable to the monastic life of the monk and nun. It was established under the leadership of Upali. Question number 75. Which of the following statements are correct regarding Vardhamana Mahavira? Answer is, he propagated his religion for 8 years and his mission took him to Kosala, Magadha, Mithali, Champa and Nepal. Explanation. Vardhamana Mahavira was born in 540 BC in the village near Vaishali, which is identical to Basarg in the district of Vaishali in North Bihar. His father was the head of a famous Kshatriya clan and his mother a Lichavi princess. They were also connected with the royal family of Magadha. In the beginning, Mahavira led a life of householder, but in the search for truth, he abandoned the world at the age of 30 and became an ascetic. He kept on wandering for 12 years from place to place. He would not stay for more than a day in a village and for more than 5 days in a town. During the course of his long journey, it is said He never changed his clothes for 12 years and abandoned them altogether when he attained perfect knowledge or kaivalya at the age of 42. Through kaivalya, he conquered misery and happiness. Because of this conquest, he was known as Mahavira, or a great hero, or Jina, that is the conqueror, and his followers were known as Jainas. He propagated his religion for 30 years, and his mission took him to Kosala, Magadha, Maithili, Champa, Nepal, etc. He passed away at the age of 72 in 468 BC at the place called Pavapan near modern Rajgir. Question number 76. Consider the following statements. Kondana was the first arhat of Buddhist. Second statement, Mahinda established the Theravada Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Third statement, Nagarjuna is the founder of Madhyamaka school of Buddhism. Which of the following statements are correct? Answer all the three. Kondana was a Buddhist bhikkhu in the Sangha of Buddha and the first to become an arhat. He lived during 6th century BCE in what is now Uttar Pradesh and Bihar in India. Mahinda, the son of Emperor Ashoka, established the Theravada Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Nagarjuna laid the foundation of Madhyamaka school of Buddhism. Question number 77. Which among the following statements correct about Middle Paleolithic age? Statement 1. The age was also known as the Flake culture. Statement 2. It was the age of Neanderthal man. Which of the following statements are true? Answer both. 1 and 2 are correct. The lower Paleolithic culture slowly transformed into Middle Paleolithic by shedding some of the tool types and by incorporating new forms and new techniques of making them. In comparison to the lower Paleolithic era, the tools in the Middle Paleolithic became smaller, thinner, and lighter. Due to this Middle Paleolithic period, also known as the flake tool in, industry, it was the age of Neanderthal man and the early man whose remains are often found in caves with evidence of the use of fire. Question number 78. Consider the following statement regarding characteristics of the tools of Mesolithic period. First one, the microlithic tools are characterized by parallel side blades taken out from prepared cores of such fine material as chert, chalcedony, crystal, jasper, carnial, and agate, etc. These tools generally 1 to 5 cm long, and types include smaller version of upper Paleolithic types such as points, scrapers, burins, awls, etc. Some new tools like lunades, trapeze, triangles, arrowheads of various shapes and size. Which of the statements are correct? Answer all the three statements are correct. Question number 79. Consider the following statement with reference to Neolithic period in India. Neolithic people used foot wheels to make pots. This statement is correct. Some Neolithic sites found in the northern spurs of the Vindhyas are considered as old as 5000 BC, but nearly Neolithic settlements found in South India are not older than 250 BC. In some parts of southern and eastern India, they are as late as 1000 BC. The Neolithic people led a settled life and produced ragi and horse gram and even rice. Neolithic people of Meheragra were more advanced. They produced wheat and barley and lived in mud brick house. People no longer depend on hunting, fishing and gathering. With cultivation and cattle husbandry provided them food. In the early stage, they made handmade pottery. Later, the Neolithic people used foot wheels to make pots. It says that the potter's wheel came to Balochistan from West Asia and from there it spread across the subcontinent. The Neolithic pottery included black burnished ware, grey ware, matte impressed ware. Question number 80. Consider the following statement about the agricultural life in Neolithic age. The oldest evidence of wheat and barley are found in Koldilva. The oldest evidence of paddy cultivation are found in Mehragra. Both the statements are wrong. The people of Neolithic age cultivated ragi, horse gram, cotton, rice, wheat, and barley, and hence termed as food producers. The oldest evidence of wheat and barley cultivation was found from Mehragra, Baluchistan province in Pakistan, in Indian subcontinent, and the oldest evidence of paddy cultivation was found from Koldhiva, Allahabad district of Uttar Pradesh, in the Indian subcontinent as well as the world. Question number 81. With reference to religious practice of Indus Valley civilization, consider the following statement. One of the major feature was the worship of female goddess associated with fertility. This statement is correct. In Harappa, numerous terracotta figurines of women have been found. In one figurine, a plant was shown growing from the embryo of the woman. The image probably represents the goddess of earth and was intimately connected with the origin and growth of plants. The Harappans therefore looked upon the earth as the fertility goddess and worshipped her in the same way as the Egyptian worshipped the Nile goddess Isis. Animals were also worshipped in Harappan times and many of them were represented on seal. The most important them is the one-horned animal unicorn, which may be identified with the rhinoceros. Next in the importance is the humped bull. Evidently, therefore, the inhabitants in the Indus region worship gods in the form of trees, animals, and human beings. But the gods were not placed in temples, a practice that was common in ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. No temples has been discovered from the ruins of the Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Question number 82. Consider the following statements. Rice husk has been found from Lothal, Rangpur. Second statement, a 13-roomed house from the overlap period has been discovered from Bhagwanpur. Third statement, the stated figure of the beard man has been recovered from the Mohenjo-daro. Which of the following statements are correct? All the three are correct. Lothal is the small Harappan settlement. It was excavated by S.R. Rao in 1957. In the excavation at Lothal, he found the dockyard, a graveyard, and rice husk. In Dholavira, a signage was found on the ground with large letter of over 37 centimeter. The letter was made of gypsum, and gypsum was used in making tiles. At Bhagwanpura, the people used to live in huts and later they began to build walled house. A house of 13 bedroom was found in Bhagwanpura which possibly belonged to a chief. At Mohenjo-daro, a beard man was unearthed and the archaeologists called it Priest King. The beard man was wearing the ribbon with a circular ornament on his forehead and a similar ornament but a smaller size found around his arm. Question number 83. Consider the following pairs Harappan site and rivers Mohenjo-daro, Indus, Kalibangan, Sindh, Alamgirpur, Hindon, Harappa, Satluj, Lothal, Bhogava. Which of the pairs are correctly matched? Only option 1, 3, 5 are correctly matched. They are Mohenjo-daro, Indus is correct, Alamgirpur, Hindon is correct, Lothal and Bhogava is correct. Some of the important Harappan sites along with rivers on which it is located are Indus, Mohenjo-daro, Chahundaro, Ravi, Harappa, Ghaggar, Kalibangan, Satluj, Ropar, Sindh, Kodiji, Amri, Rangoy, Banavali, Hindon, Alamgirpur, Bhogava, tributary of Sabarmati, Lothal, Gujarat. Question number 84. Consider the following. Consider the core ideas behind Jaina doctrine. The theory of Svadavada describes reality from different aspects. The theory of Nayavada, they gave importance to relativity of all knowledge. Which of the statements are true? Answer, both are false. The core idea behind Jaina doctrine were the theory of conditioned prediction, Sayadvada, and theory of partial standpoints, Nyayavada. According to the theory of Shayadvada, all judgments are conditional, holding good only in certain conditions, circumstances, or senses. It gave importance to relativity of all knowledge, whereas the theory of Nyayavada described reality of from different aspects. Question number 85. Which of the following statements are not correct regarding Digambara sect of Jainism? The answer is they believe that both men and women can attain salvation, moksha. This statement is not correct, and the correct statements are Digambara monk do not wear clothes as they believe it increases the dependency and desire for material things. Second, they believe that Mahavira remained unmarried. Third one, Suttapahuda text contain the earliest record of the belief of Digambaras. These statements are correct. Explanation. Jainas were divided into two major sects. First one Digambara meaning sky clad or naked sect, and second one Shvetambara meaning white clad sect. Both sects accepted the basic Jain philosophy, but they differed with each other with respect to details of the life of Mahavira, the spiritual status of woman ritual, which text should be accepted as scripture. The Digambara sect is more astute and is closer in its way to the Jainas at the time of Mahavira. Digambaras believe that woman cannot achieve liberation without the first being reborn as a man. This is because women cannot live a truly ascetic life because they have to possess clothes since it is impractical for them to live naked. On the other hand, Shvetambaras believed that women may attain liberation and that Tirthankara Malinath was female. Digambaras believed that Mahavira remained unmarried, whereas Shvetambara believed Mahavira married and a daughter was born to him. Digambara monks do not wear clothes because they believe clothes, like other possession, increase dependency and desire for material things. The Prakrit Suttapahuda of the Digambara mendicant Kunda 2nd century AD contains the earliest record of belief of Digambaras. Question number 86. So the following statements are correct regarding Tantrism. Tantric worship is predominantly associated with female goddess. Second statement, it had influence over both Hinduism as well as Buddhism. Third statement, Tantric practices frequently ignore the authority of the Vedas. Correct answer, all the statements are correct. Question number 87. With reference to religious history of India, consider the following statements. Madhyamika, Yogacara are the schools of Hinayana Buddhism. This statement is wrong. Yogacara believes that world is built by consciousness and had no reality than the dream. This statement is correct. Question number 88. Consider the following statements. Which of the statements are correct? Darius was the first Iranian to invade India. This statement is wrong. Heterodotus was known as father of history. This statement is correct. The rulers of Iran who expanded their empire at the same time as Magadhan prince took advantage of the political disunity of the northwest frontier. The Iranian ruler Darius penetrated the northwest India in 516 BC and annexed Punjab with the west of the Indus and Sindh. The statement 1 is correct. Herodotus, who was called the father of history, and the other Greek writer painted India as a fabulous land which tempted Alexander to invade India. This statement is also correct. The Indo-Iranian contact lasted for about 200 years. The Iranian scribes brought to India from India a form of writing which came to be India known as Kharoshti script. It was written from left to right like Arabic. This statement is wrong. Question number 89. Consider the following statements about Alexander invasion. He invaded India in 326 BC, and the invasion provided first close contact with ancient Europe. These both statements are correct. Alexander marched to India through Khyber Pass in 326 BC. He advanced from Indus to as far as Bias River. He wanted to move much farther east, but his army refused to accompany him. Thus, he could not cross Bias. Alexander's invasion provided the first occasion when ancient Europe came into close contact with ancient India. The most important outcome of Alexander's invasion was the establishment of direct contact between India and the Greece in different fields. Question number 90. Which of the following pairs are correct? Answer Vesa Merchant Street, Niksha and Sataman. The name of the coins Bojaka, the village headman. Question number 91. Consider the following statements about the administrative system of Kosala and Magadha. Kosala and Magadha emerged as the powerful states which were ruled by the hereditary monarchies belonging to Kshatriya Varna. The Jatakas or the stories relating to the previous birth of Buddha tell us that oppressive kings and their chief priests were expelled by people and new kings were installed. But occasions of expulsions were as rare as those of election and therefore it was not done frequently. The kings ruled with the help of officials, both high and low. Higher officials were called Mahamatras and they performed various functions such as those of ministers, commanders, judge, chief accountant, and head of the royal harem. Question number 92. What is correct chronological order in which the following appeared in India? Gold coins, punchmark, silver coins, iron pug, urban culture. Answer is first one. The correct chronological order of the event is first urban culture during Harappan civilization, second iron plough during later Vedic period, third punched mark silver coin during 6th and 5th century BCE, fourth one gold coins. Kushanas were the first to introduce gold currency in India around 1st century AD. Question number 93. The concept of eightfold path forms the theme of Dharma Chakra Pravartana Sutta. Question number 94. Which among the following was considered as transition phase from the Neolithic period to Harappa civilization? Answer copper culture. Which among the following metal was referred as Shayam Ayas in the later Vedic period? Answer iron. During the period Rigveda, there was mention of only Ayas which has been taken as copper bronze. With the introduction of new metal that is iron in later Vedic period, historians get to new terms Shayam Ayas or Krishna's Ayas for iron metal. Question number 96. Which of the following pairs are correctly matched? Answer Lothal, ancient dockyard. Sarnatha, the first sermon of Buddha. Fourth one, Nalanda, the great sect of Buddhist learning. Lion capital of Ashoka is in Saranath. Question number 97. Statement 1. The early Aranyas, who were essentially pastorals, did not develop any political structure which could measure up a state in either ancient or modern sense. Second statement, kingship was the same as tribal chiefship, the term Rajan being used for tribal chief who was primarily a military leader and who ruled over his people and not over any specified area. Both the statements are individually true. Statement 1 is the correct explanation of statement 2. Question number 98. From which of the following factory sites were limestones and shirt blades mass produced and sent to various Harappan settlement in Sindh? Answer Shukor and Ro- Ro- Rory Hills. Question number 99. What was the Kutagara Shala? Literally a hut with a pointed roof. Answer a place where intellectual debates among Buddhist mendicants took place. Question number 100. Which one among the following is not a characteristic of Rig Vedic Aryan? Answer they were acquainted with the use of iron. The copper and explanation. The copper and the bronze were available in abundance while the use of iron was not known by the Rig Vedic age. The beginning of the use of iron has been traditionally associated with the eastward migration of the later Vedic people, who also considered as the agency which revolutionized material culture, particularly in the eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar.